Nessa girl, answer this damn phone. I'm trying to communicate with you. This was the communication episode of Married to Medicine. You know, every issue in life, 9 times out of 10, deals with communication. What am I talking about? Catch these T's. Nessa girl, happy Monday morning. How was your weekend? Good, fine? I hope you had a good time. Did you get into last night's episode of Married to Medicine? I just got through watching it and I'm going to tell you something. It left me in a very reflective mood. So for those of y'all who are looking for super duper funny today, you might not get that from this video, but it's just really got my mind racing about communication. And before we get into the episode, I just want to say one thing while it's at the top of my mind and I don't forget it. You know, so many times socially, we are conditioned to not say something in the name of keeping the peace. It was like, you know, so-and-so did something, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want to start nothing. You know, we are taught that. But what ends up happening when infractions go unspoken is that people end up building bitterness and resentment inside, and it shows in their actions and their attitudes, and then you wonder why they're acting funny or why there's an elephant in the room. And to be quite honest, and I know this is out of sequence, but I really feel in my heart of hearts that that is what is going on with Quad and Simone. There is something that has not been spoken that makes their breakup, it'll make it all make sense. And just think about how many relationships you've been in where that has been the case. It's one of two things. And I believe the onus is on Simone. There's either something Simone is not saying, or there is a level of honesty that Simone is not willing to have with herself. It's one of the two. And I'm not saying this is the case with Simone, but you know how sometimes you got a friend and the friend is treating you funny or the energy is dry and you ask the person, what have I ever done to you? And they can't answer, when in all actuality, that particular person may be jealous or, you know, may be insecure in some area, and they are not ready to own the fact that they are jealous or insecure about something or feel inadequate about something. And again, I'm not saying that is Simone's issue. I'm just simply illustrating what I meant by when I say lack of honesty that a person is willing to have with themselves. But it's one of the two things. Give me your thoughts on it. At any rate, let's just jump into this episode. I love Allura. Allura is going to be a more refined version of Dr. Heavenly, because don't get me wrong, she's got the sass, but she's just a bit more subtle with hers. And I think that Allura is Dr. Heavenly's kryptonite. Allura is the only one who can get Dr. Heavenly ass together. And it hurt my feelings when Heavenly was like, you know, what you be doing in your room? You don't spend no time with me. You know, don't you want to spend more time with me? And Allura was like, no. And it was like, Heavenly smiled and was taken aback, but I really do feel like Dr. Heavenly's feelings was hurt a little bit, which in turn hurt my feelings. But shouts out to Allura. Shouts out to all the Married to Medicine kids. I think the parents are doing really good jobs with them for the most part. Scott cooking for the kids. You know, y'all know I'm not super big on gender roles, so I love to see, you know, them turn about and switch roles. Scott did a really good job cooking. Here's the thing though that I didn't get, and somebody help me out. Scott was cooking and in there bitching and moaning about that laundry that needed to be put up. But is it me, or did Contessa's oldest child look big enough to fold damn towels? I'm sorry. When I was coming up, bitch, you wasn't coming home from after school and walking past no basket full of towels that needed to be folded 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times, and by 8 o'clock at night, somebody's ass was not folding them towels. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I've been folding towels since I was about 7 or 8. So Scott, you can't use some of them hands y'all got around that house for manual labor. Now I know some people don't like to make their kids clean up and stuff because they feel like that's their responsibility. But baby, my parents used us as field hands. All hands on deck. That oldest child could be in there helping you fold some towels to alleviate the stress. And is it me? Or does it sound like the solution to Contessa and Scott's issue in terms of managing the household while Contessa is in school is for y'all to get a damn nanny? Quiet as it's kept, Contessa, if your ass wasn't trying to use Miss Renee in order to solidify your spot on this show and embarrass the hell out of that lady, you'd have had some help around there. And quiet as it's kept, I don't believe Miss Renee would have fucked your husband. She might have drank you out of the house and the home, but she wouldn't have fucked your husband. She could have stayed right there and went and picked them kids up, folded up them towels, and cooked. I think y'all need to go get Miss Renee or some version of Miss Renee. I don't understand why y'all got memes. So it's almost hard for me to feel bad for Contessa and Scott because the issue that they're having right now is easily fixed with money. And y'all have it. Go get a nanny. And even if it's not a live-in, just to do the day-to-day and to prepare a meal. Or better yet, you know, y'all got the money, hire a chef to come in. This situation with Contessa going to school is temporary. Even if temporary looks like 2 or 3 years, I don't know how long her program is, yet and still, it is temporary. Make the shit work. However, I was getting ready to say, Contessa went to college and she eating like a college student when she got to McDonald's and got pancakes, nuggets, all this type of stuff. Lo and behold, she was bringing that home to Scott. You know, Scott was rubbed the wrong way because he was like, you know, did you think I would not have fed the kids by this late in the evening? And it really did show some sort of disconnect between Scott and Contessa because I'm like, yeah, Contessa, what did you think? Or was that your attempt to surprise the kids with their favorite goodies? I was just really confused on that. Now, Scott, you know, I think Scott is a poor communicator because the grief that he was giving Contessa, the passive aggressiveness, you know, I'm going to fold the towels, but you know what, I guess you're too busy. You're going to go study or whatever the case. It's like, damn, you making the lady feel guilty for bettering herself, which subsequently betters the family. Or you know what, I got an even better idea. If y'all not going to hire Miss Renee, y'all not going to hire a nanny, fuck them damn towels and fuck them damn clothes. Live out the laundry basket. I mean, do what you gotta do. But the issue that Contessa and Scott is having really don't have to be an issue. And I do think though, if the roles were reversed, that Contessa would not be bitching Scott out about having to take care of the kids and having to do the clothes, because I think women are automatically taught that they're supposed to do it. I don't know, I'm spending way too much time with Scott and Contessa. Y'all can tell, you know, that gender role stuff I really gets into. Let me see what else we're talking about. Dr. Heavenly and Jackie go out to eat. First and foremost, for Dr. Heavenly and everybody else out there, the word is salmon. Although it is spelled salmon, S-A-L-M-O-N, the word is salmon. The L is silent. Just some, you know, some housekeeping rules before we continue. Here's what I have to say, and it's cut and dry. I completely understand why Simone is mad with Heavenly. There's no room for interpretation. There is no ambiguity. Heavenly was wrong. Heavenly violated Simone's trust. Whether or not she thought everybody could deduce that problem or see it with their own eyes unspoken, she told you something and you weaponized her confession back against her husband. Not only could that have caused problems within the friendship group, that could have caused problems in them people's marriage as well, because you, in a degree, to a sense, emasculated her husband publicly using her information to do it. Thus, she ultimately emasculated her husband via you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have really caused a lot of problems, and I hope Heavenly sees that. But see, not condoning what she did, I'm heavenly in that sense. Don't tongue wrestle with me, because I don't have a middle gauge when it comes to getting a bitch together. I will use any and everything I got to hurt your damn ass if it gets to that. It's not a good thing. I'm not bragging and boasting. I'm just saying I simply understand how that happened. No, my phone just all acting up today. Damn passcode. Toya having a miscarriage. You know, y'all, this was a very reflective. In my mind right now, I literally was saying, Q, pick up the pace, throw some jokes in there. But there was nothing joking about this episode. It was a deep, reflective episode. Toya had a miscarriage. I am so sorry to hear that. Yeah, you know, it happens. I want to say this though. Oftentimes Simone gets accused of not being able to communicate with the friend group, saying stuff wrong, or screaming at the people. And I noticed though, when Simone is in Dr. Whitmore mode, Dr. Simone mode, and she's talking to her patients, Simone is very gentle, very soft, knows what words to use, and knows how to effectively communicate through something as troubling and trying as a miscarriage. So it leads me to believe that sometimes when Simone goes off the rails, that she's fully aware of what she's doing. Because Simone, you demonstrated that you don't lack the ability to find the words to say what it is you need to say when the situation calls for it. And don't get me wrong, bitch, we all know how to act when it comes down to our coins. But that was just something that stood out to me. The ladies meet up with Quad, and Quad got this blonde hair. Friend, you need to burn that blonde hair. I don't like it. I don't like it. Y'all know how I feel about black women with blonde. I don't like it. I don't think it looks good on Quad. And I was trying to analyze what about that blonde that I don't like. Number one, it's too damn blonde. Number two, it ages you. And number three, the haircut was already dramatic as fuck. So then for it to be blonde as fuck just made it a double no-no. Like, I think that haircut would have been so pussy had it been subtle. Just a black, or just like a nice with a red rinse on it or something. But that blonde, that shit is ugly to me, Quad. I don't think you need to wear that blonde. I remember when I saw it on the Instagram, on the Sister Circle Slayer today, I was like, ooh, bitch, I don't like this blonde. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Jackie called a lady from her church. You know, I really like Dr. Jackie's intentions, and I had never heard of a spiritual mediator, but I will say this. I felt that lady's sincerity and her professionalism through the screen. This was a great advertisement for Alyssa. Like, I liked her a lot, and I like how she facilitated a space of healing, learning, growth, and communication. I like Dr. Jackie's intentions, and I do like the fact that Dr. Jackie was self-aware enough to take herself out of the leadership role and the mediator role and step into the girlfriend mode, because, you know, it's some folks that may not have been particularly honest or felt comfortable communicating if you were the facilitator. So shouts out to Dr. Jackie for doing that. What I do like about Alyssa is that she created an atmosphere where the women let their guards down and they were not throwing shade. I was nervous as hell when all the ladies got there, because y'all know on these reality TV shows, whenever it's a group scene, it's guaranteed to be disaster. And I want to say, this to me feels like one of the first times that the whole cast got together on any of these black reality shows we be watching, and no shit broke loose. Like, this was a very, very, very positive step in the right direction. I love that game about owning your emotions. And honestly and truthfully, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a lot of passive aggressiveness. I was expecting some low-key shade throwing, particularly from Mariah, because she can do that sometimes. Here I go hating on Mariah. But no, even in this situation, I was really impressed with all the ladies. And I like that Mariah was able to just communicate her feelings honestly without hostility. As a matter of fact, that goes for all the ladies. I will say this. As much as I rag on Toya, sometimes, I saw Toya tonight for who she is at her core. Toya loves hard. Toya loves hard. And she might not always have the words to communicate her feelings, and her actions may come off a little off-putting sometimes, or sometimes Toya may not know how to channel those emotions properly, so it comes out in forms of hostility or misspeaking. But that girl got a good heart. She does. And I think that crying she was doing was for Contessa. But then I also think there's a bit of ego that comes to play when a person says, I ain't finna kiss her ass, I ain't finna kiss nobody's ass to be my friend when we do that. When in all actuality, a small peck on the ass might be what it takes to get this friendship back. I never really cared if Contessa and Toya became friends again, but after seeing Toya cry the way she was crying, I really feel like she misses her friend, and I hope that Contessa softened a little bit and was able to take that on. Here is the thing, and I think it's something that Quad has got to understand. When you already got a group of people who feel like you're kind of over here and the herd is right here, you can't continue doing things that will continue to alienate you or keep you disjointed from the group. Everybody else went around the table and picked up 1 or 2 cards. Here you go being extra as fuck. Like just being extra for no goddamn reason. And I like the way Dr. Jackie in a classy tone said, can you please limit it to 2? Like, what's that all about? Because the thing about it is, and I don't know that she was intentionally being passive aggressive, but it translated into, I got a problem with all you bitches. That's what it translated into. And honestly, it was a form of soft and subtle hostility. Like, that was hostile what Quad did. No ifs, ands, buts about it. It was hostile. It was ugly. And if I was sitting at that table, I'm not gonna lie to you, my attitude would have been like, look at this bitch. And I'm sure that is what's going through everybody's mind at that table. And I think oftentimes behaviors like that can come from a lack of self-awareness. As adults and being mature, granted, you may have an issue with all the ladies. You may have 19 different things to say, but your maturity panties should have kicked in and said, let me follow suit like everybody else do 1 or 2. And obviously, I'm not going to be able to fix 19 issues tonight. So let me do 2 and keep it moving. Let me flow with the current. Quad got to stop going out of her way sometimes to alienate herself from the rest of the group, because I'm not gonna lie, if that was me sitting at that dinner, when I got in the car, I'd have been on the phone. You saw what that bitch did? She's so goddamn extra, and I want to know who the hell she was talking about. Everybody else at the table picked up 2 cards. Here her ass go picking up 4. Shit, I could have picked up 4 cards just on her ass. Quiet as it's kept. Like, that, honestly, truthfully, is the attitude that I would have had leaving that dinner. I'm gonna say something too. For all the I hate Mariah people, I do totally get why Mariah is mad, and Mariah should be upset with Jackie. Whether the lady snorted the cocaine or not, Mariah is right in the sense that, Jackie, you didn't even give me the courtesy of asking. You just further went along with it. And like Dr. Heavenly said, you know, don't be mad with Jackie, be mad with Quad. Well, being mad with Quad is a given, okay? We beefing. I have no expectation of Quad because we're not getting along. So of course that person is gonna say whatever they need to say. But it's like, Jackie, you further perpetuating something that looks very negative on me, whether it be true or false. Because Dr. Jackie could have said, do you think it was a violation of girl code for Quad to spill something she saw in private? You know, to get on TV, I totally get why Mariah is mad. To get on TV and further push this narrative by using the word cocaine. Do you think Quad had the right to say Mariah used cocaine? And then too, Dr. Jackie, you did present it like it was a fact. You know what I'm saying? You presented it like it was fact. So I totally get why Mariah is mad, and I hope that Dr. Jackie can own that as best she could. Who else? What did Heavenly say at the table? What was Heavenly thing? She said she was confused. I can't. Did Contessa do one? Did Contessa read her card? I can't remember if Contessa read her card or not. But anyway, so then Quad and Dr. Heavenly, you know, again, Alyssa created an environment that was really worth the ladies opening up. When Quad was like, there is somebody I really miss and I want to see if we can reconnect. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I honestly thought she was going to say Mariah, and I kind of was hoping that she would have, simply because at this point, just the whole everybody's mad with Mariah, it's gotten old. It's even gotten old with me reading Mariah. It's just gotten old. Like, you know, I am ready to see something else. I mean, it would make for good TV for them to spend the next 2 or 3 seasons trying to rekindle, catching up on what they missed out on, making up for old time's sakes, if both ladies are able to get to that point. You know, Alyssa helped me on my Dr. Iyanla shit when she said to Mariah, do you ever think you could get to a position where you could let that go? And Mariah said it will require some acknowledgement. That's a question I now am going to ask myself when I get into dispute with people. Do I think I can ever be in position to let it go, or explore what it would take for me to be in position to let it go? And I think all Mariah wants from Dr. Jackie is to say, you know what, Mariah, I was wrong for taking that, something that was between you and Quad, and further perpetuating it. I acknowledge your feelings, and I think that her and Jackie would be able to get it going on. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I don't heard it from several women on that damn show. They say Dr. Jackie is the one. You know, they say Jackie cuts the girls. You know, they say Jackie is the one behind the scenes that's just like, that just really, you know, get the girls together. And I think it's because the ladies hold Jackie in such high esteem and such high respect that what Jackie says and does carries a lot of weight, but probably the most weight in the group. Not to mention African American people, we tend to be very matriarchal, and Jackie is the elder of the group, I believe. I think she's the oldest. And so we look at Dr. Jackie like the auntie or the big sister. So what Dr. Jackie says and does, even what she doesn't say, her energy in a situation sets the tone for the rest of the ladies. And I think Dr. Jackie single-handedly has the ability to vote a bitch on or off the island versus some of the other girls. They have to band together. But I'm pretty sure if Dr. Jackie decide we icing this person out, the whole group will follow suit. Quad being late. That's the biggest pet peeve of mine, and I'm going to tell you what it is. And everybody know Quad got a chronic late problem. She do. Quad has a chronic late problem. It's inconsiderate. The shit is disrespectful as fuck. That's one of my largest pet peeves. As a matter of fact, a friend did that to me one time. Me and another friend were out, and when the late person was pulling up, the friend that was with me consciously said, let's leave. and we left. Texted her and was like, we're leaving. And we had just went to the restaurant next door and just ate without her, just to prove a point. Nobody finna sit around and wait for you. Now, it would have been different if that was an ensemble dinner and Simone would have had other people to talk to or entertain her. But to sit there and wait that long for somebody, that right there alone probably had Dr. Simone sitting on pins and needles. Because she, bitch, I got shit to do too. I got to go to work in the morning. It's late. It's probably during the week as well. And now you got the nerve to be an hour late. Now I got to ask myself, y'all, this question though. What in the hell did these producers edit out of that fight scene with Simone and Quad for that conversation to go from 0 to 60? And it can't be about that damn crab boil. I will say this. Going back to my opening statement about something not being said or someone being dishonest. Quad wanted to go back and speak about how Simone treated her at the crab boil. Simone was like, we already talked about that. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily agree with Simone on that. Obviously, whether we talked about it or not, obviously it is still bothering her. So possibly we need to talk about it again. Going back to the not telling something or being dishonest, Quad should have never given Simone the impression that all was forgiven and all was lost and all was good if she was still fuming over that situation. And we tend to do that. We're taught to do that. You know, I'm sorry. You accept my apology, yes. And you're still mad. There still may be some more talking through the situation that needs to be had for this person to have some resolve. And I do think, and the reason why I say Simone was wrong is because I feel like if you were really coming to the dinner with a spirit of resolution, then you just would have bit the bullet and you would have discussed it again. I think Quad was wrong in the sense that you were an hour late and then you were very aggressive and then you were very dismissive when you were like, when she said, damn, no small talk, we just gonna hop right on in. Yeah, child, I gotta go to work in the morning. It was just like, I ain't got time for that, down to business. And I'm with Simone when she says, this is not the same person that was at the emergency. And so do you see how your energy and your attitude can dictate the climate in the room? There was so much moving energy going on in that restaurant that was just not, they weren't gonna get nothing. It was too much moving energy. Between Quad coming in fast and frantic, Simone having to wait, you know, heightened sensitivities, it just was a failed venture. And I hate that it was failed because they really are not talking over something stupid. What do y'all think the real issue is? You know, Simone said this little girl thinks she's better than every one of us in the room. Does she? And why does that statement hurt Quad's feelings so much? And why does Dr. Simone feel that way? And I think that's that missing piece when I was saying that there's something Simone isn't saying. So going back to something not being said or lack of honesty, which is it? Is Simone not saying something, or does Simone feel inadequate at times in relation to Quad and she doesn't know how to communicate that, or is unwilling to be honest with herself and preach it? You tell me. I don't know. Only she knows. But I hope everybody is able to communicate and get back on the same track. Communicate with themselves and with the girlfriends. Y'all, you know, I know that this was more of an Iyanla Fix My Lifestyle video for y'all, and it wasn't what y'all were used to, but this is the mood that Married to Medicine left me in. And I think possibly too because it's echoing some of the stuff that I've got going on in my personal life with some people in my life. At any rate, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm finna get off the line and call you about Patanka and Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'll call you back. Bah.